up, everybody? Well, I got another gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're going to do Dead Space Remake on the secondary computer here, which is also my capture computer, but real fast. Let's go over its specs. Now we got a 5800X3D. I just have it stock. I can do what it does. And we got an RTX 3090 Founders Edition. We got an X570 Taichi motherboard, AsRock. We got a 360mm EK all-in-one basic cooling the CPU. We got 32 gigs of 3600 MHz CL14 dual rank memory, and then powering the whole ordeal is a 1000 watt Corsair RM1000 gold rated power. And then we've got a 3440 by 1440 ultra wide Alienware monitor. Now I can't really remember the dang model number right off the top of my head. Both this one and my monitor I use on the laptop are both kind of hard to remember because they're just whatchamacallit, a bunch of fucking numbers. So hard for me to remember, but no big deal. I'll remember to put it in the description. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and hop into the game, shall we?
Right, starting off here, we're going to show you these settings for ultra wide. It's pretty much just going to show you the screen one time just to show you we were on ultra wide. Then we got aliasing on TAA and the game on ultra preset. And then we'll probably just tone it down from there because I have a feeling this can't quite hit 60 all the time. But maybe it can. We'll still go through all the settings though. Best to be thorough, right? Alright, starting off with the game on ultra here. We're just barely above 60. We're in the low 70s at times. But still above 60. We even dropped down to 68 there. But this is still all numbers that are above 60. Now, I don't know if the thing will be able to do it the whole freaking time, but so far so good. We'll still go through all the settings though, just for fun.
Johnson might disagree. But you're off by the first round.
I would have meant something, especially on CEC stuff.
You see anyone in flight control?
No, nobody.
Isaac, guess we better go.
Alright, let's see if I can get done doing all these voiceovers before my dinner's done cooking. I decided to make something interesting. I decided to create a concoction that I like to call Mexican meat.
At least we didn't take out the sign.
And that's pretty much just ground meat that's in the shape of like a meatloaf. However, I added in a bunch of spices that normally go into making, what would you call it, like a packet of taco seasoning, basically. That's akin to that. Just all the different spices for that, all mixed into the meat. So it basically tastes like you're eating a taco without the shell or anything. Kind of fun, and then I put a little taco sauce on top, and it's pretty fun. I was thinking about adding cheese too next time. That might be fun. But I didn't have any on hand. And maybe some onions and other stuff, and it could pretty much be, yeah, I could pretty much make my own little thing. I don't know if this has ever been done before. It's not like I'm saying, oh, I created this. But just kind of had the thought to do it, had all the stuff, and I was like, I'm feeling lazy, and that's something easy to make. It's literally something you can throw together in like 10 minutes and throw in the oven. Alright, it's finally gonna let me in here. Alright, let's go walk around here just for a little bit, and then we'll move on to the next setting. Alright, let's go over here next to the stairs. And now, let's move on to the next graphics setting. Well, let's see what toning the game down to high will do. So here's all the high settings real quick before we do jump back into the game. And alright, I think that is more than enough, so jumping back into the game now. Now for some high gameplay here on ultra wide on the secondary PC here. So let's just walk around again. And we'll go through all the settings, and then we'll do DLSS at the end, along with a little camera gameplay, which will probably just be some form of DLSS and ultra quality settings, more than likely, seeing as that we were able to already play the game maxed out, at least over here, without dropping under 60. Doesn't mean we'll be able to the whole time. During the beginning opening, for example, sequence, we were dropping down into like 47s and mid-50s a bunch of times. But for the majority of the time, it stayed around 58, 59 even for that, so as long as no one cares about that, it's about the only time I've seen it drop under 60, is during the little cutscene in the beginning, when you're not even able to move or do anything. And at times like that, as long as it's not dropping down to fucking like under 20 FPS or something, I don't really care too much. And that's probably because when you're not controlling anything, it's almost like a damn film at that point, and we've watched films for years at 24
At least we didn't
FPS.
take out the sign.
But that's because you're not controlling anything. Now, the second you try to move your mouse around, God, 24 FPS seems terrible to me personally. I know there's some people that aren't bothered by that at all. I've heard of some people playing at like 15 FPS, playing some like Minecraft on like an Atom processor because it's the only thing they've got and they want a game, you know? When you don't got lots of money for stuff, sometimes you gotta make do with some low graphics and low FPS, you know? Seems like I need a drink because I've been doing this for a while. Voice is giving out on me. But that's what happens when there's Steam Deck, ASUS G15 Advantage, and desktops to do all in one day. That's a lot of voiceovers. It's not like I exactly sit here and have no enthusiasm and sit here and just go, all right, guys, here's the video we're going to do today.
Same for the chief engineer.
I know I've seen so many people do that online and then act like, why don't I have 1 million subs? What the fuck? And it's like, well, you've got like, people have to like your personality. You have to keep people entertained. Now, I might not be the most entertaining person, but obviously I'm doing something right or I wouldn't constantly be getting more subs, right? Anyway, enough about all that. It's time for us to move on to the next graphics setting. Well, now it's medium time, so let's look through these settings real fast. There's not many to look through at all. So it does not take long. No siree, no siree. See, look at that. Already at the bottom, and it's already time to get into the game. Now we are on medium. So we'll go and walk around our little walking area that we have designated for ourselves here. Could call it our benchmark run, I guess. Well, now that was interesting. For RAM, we had 1111111 for a split second there. That definitely caused my eyes to avert to it.
Be proud, Chen. You got us here in one piece.
Johnson might disagree.
I'm not gonna lie, this game is really good at putting equal load over your processor. I'll give it that. And my GPU is at 100% utilization too.
No.
So yeah, I'm willing to bet there's probably just some driver thing going on with the ASUS. I bet you this game will get much better once they come out with the next driver update. That's just an idea I had. It might just be a pipe dream and it might never happen, but I think the ASUS has more in it. At least at 1080p. At 1440p, we were just overdoing it. We were at like 100% GPU utilization. It just couldn't quite handle it.
May as well get signed in.
And people have also been recommending that I do undervolt on this 5800X3D so the clocks will stay more at 4.4 to 4.6 gigahertz. So, or I think it's 4.4 to 4.5 technically. I don't think this one does 4.6. I think the 3D cache lowered the clocks. That's one thing a lot of people don't know about this chip. It actually has lower base clocks and turbo boost than the stock 5800. So there are certain games where the old school, just regular old 5800 actually get more FPS than this chip. A lot of people like to think, oh nope, this is the best gaming chip no matter what, bar none. And that's not entirely true, but there's definitely a lot of games where it just kicks fucking ass at the same time. And if you're already on a AM4 and you don't want to upgrade to AM5, I mean, you can't really go wrong with this motherfucker. There's a lot of people that love to try to downplay this chip. Be like, no, it's a piece of shit. Well, yeah, maybe if you're building a computer from the ground up, yeah, there's Intel chips and AM5 chips you can get that are better than it, or just as good. But if you're already just on something, you don't feel like tearing everything apart, and you just want to plop a CPU in, boom, this thing is right up your alley. Well, now we are on low. Well, actually, boom, glad I noticed that. We'll turn that down to low too, and we'll turn on variable rate shading as well. And now here's the rest of the low settings real quick before we get into the game. All right, and with that, it's time to get into the game. Well, all right, here we go with some low. Just walk around a little bit here, and then we'll get into the DLSS.
Starts war repair mission. Standard procedure, Miss Taichi. We'll register them in the flight lounge.
Well, it's definitely better to have some weapons than none.
Where is everybody?
I don't get a weapon.
Be proud, Chen.
Well, it looks like she doesn't have one either. Just those two get the weapon.
What? You're offering to buy the first round tonight.
I'll get my weapon later on, I'm sure.
Especially on CEC stuff.
You see anyone in flight control?
No, nobody.
At least we didn't take out the sign.
Alright, how much time do I have left on my timer here? 5 more minutes. Well, I'm definitely not getting done with all of these in 5 minutes. But it needs time to cool, too. Can't just go eat something that came out of the oven at 450 degrees now, can I? I mean, I guess I could, but then I'd get like probably second or third degree burns in my mouth, and then I wouldn't have a very good day, I don't think. So let's not do that. So I'll still have like 5, 6 to 8 minutes or something like that to do a little bit more. I might be able to get through DLSS still and all that.
Welcome, Isaac Clarke, to the USG Ishimura.
All right, door, open sesame, will ya? I want to go in.
Rig synced. Collect kinesis and stasis modules from Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple. Location? Error. Employee not found.
I can't reach security.
Same for the chief engineer. What is wrong with their comms?
Well, all right, we've made it to our little area where we just walk around here, so. Now it's time to move on. Now for the DLSS, and we will start off on quality, and we're just gonna max the game out. That's what somebody with a system like this would do. And then after we're done with all of these, then we'll get a little camera gameplay in too. All right, let's get a little DLSS gameplay in now.
Stand clear.
So we definitely got a little FPS boost, that's for sure.
Not a great start to
We
our
were more in
repair
the
mission.
high 60s to mid 70s and low 80s before, and now we're in like almost 130s and shit, so you can't say DLSS doesn't
Where
work.
is everybody? Half the shit must
Doesn't
have
look
heard
that
man.
bad either.
Be proud, Chen. You got us here in one piece.
Johnson might disagree. But if you're offering to buy the first round tonight.
I wouldn't mind something to
So that's
see
pretty
theirs,
dope.
especially on CEC staff.
You see anyone in flight control?
No, nobody.
I wonder if it's possible for FSR to ever compete with DLSS. I know it's kind of cool the fact that it doesn't require, you know, AMD hardware to run, but it also doesn't use AI and it's all software based.
Isaac,
But
guess we better
FSR
go.
2.0 and 2.1 and all that shit seems pretty fucking good. But same thing with DLSS. I don't even know what damn thing that's on now. Isn't it 3.0 or
May
something
as well
like
get
that?
signed in.
Misty came to visit. Were you asleep in the tree up there? Well, that's fine. She probably would have jumped on my lap, but I'm sitting too close to my microphone. She was probably like, what the fuck? There's no room for me? Well, all right, I'll go in the tree. What happened, Misty? That's awesome. I didn't stand there at all. I'm just walking around and still just like, oh yeah, we got you. We scanned you somehow. It's all good.
Rig synced. Collect kinesis and stasis modules from Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple. Location? Error. Employee not found.
I can't reach security.
Same for the chief engineer. What is wrong with their comms?
Someone left in
Well,
a hurry.
all right. Looks like it's time for us to move on to the next DLSS setting. Now for some DLSS balanced. Still leaving the game on Ultra, of course. So let's scroll on down to the bottom here, which we already are at, so now let's go hop back into the game, shall we? Well, now for some FSR, or not FSR, DLSS balanced. I do too much of the Asus G15 Advantage and Steam Deck. I'm too used to FSR. So we're on DLSS balanced now.
Ghost rifles?
Standard procedure, Miss Daniels. We'll register them in the flight lounge.
Honestly, not too much different than
Where is everybody? Half the shit must have heard that landing.
quality as far as frame rate goes.
You got us here in one piece.
Johnson might disagree. But if you're offering to buy the first
Maybe a
round.
couple.
I wouldn't
Obviously a
mind something to
couple.
see
Nah, we
theirs,
definitely got more now.
especially on CEC staff.
It's just in the really intensive spots, it doesn't seem like as much.
Nobody.
Because it probably only is like a 2 or 3 FPS jump in those spots. But here, out here, I swear we weren't getting no 150s. But it hit 150 for a second. That's where we were more in like
At least we didn't
the
take out
lower
the sun.
130s. So it's more like 6 or 7 FPS up on the higher portions here. Yeah, see, there's 150 again just for a second. We were kind of just looking off into nothingness, so that's probably why.
May as well get signed in.
And counting. Whether you'll be joining us aboard the Ishimura or strengthening the extraction workforce on the colony, Captain Matthias and his crew welcome you. Concordance Extraction Corporation, powering humanity into the future.
Welcome, Isaac Clarke, to the USG Ishimura. Rig synced. Collect kinesis and stasis modules from Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple. Location?
Alright, come on, door. Everyone's tired of standing around here. Can't you just let us in already?
I can't reach security.
Same for the chief engineer. What is
Who
wrong
cares
with
if you
their
can't
cause?
reach security? We gotta go in. Alright, there we go. It's unlocked.
Someone left in a
Okay,
hurry.
moving on. Now for DLSS performance. But before we jump in, we gotta look at the settings, of course, even though they're basically the same other than the DLSS mode, but it makes my life easier when doing the captions, and then everyone knows what the settings are every time in case they click around the video, you know? So, game time. Alright. Let's get some DLSS performance gameplay in now.
Down hard.
At least I said the right thing this time. I didn't call it FSR.
Standard procedure. We'll register them.
But I'm still not as used to doing the desktop PCs as I
Where's
am
everybody? Half the
the
shit must have heard
laptop
that
and
landing.
Steam Deck.
Be proud, Chad. You got us here in one piece.
Johnson might disagree.
Speaking of which, I still gotta do a review on
You're
that
off by the
Steam
first
Deck.
round tonight.
I wouldn't mind something to say.
Definitely been using it more than long
Especially on
enough to
CNC stuff.
get a good grasp of what
see
it
anyone
can
in
and can't
flight
do,
control?
and pros and cons and
Nobody.
all that good junk.
At least we didn't take out the sign.
And is now the oldest serving with 62 years of continuous service. It holds the record for the highest number of planet craft with 34
Taking our
today.
slow walk
It's
down the
provided
catwalk.
May as well get signed in.
14 trillion
And then we have to wait in
kilograms
this stupid room for a bunch of time. That's the one part I don't like about this little benchmark run I've made for myself. I do not like waiting in this small ass little room. It's just really boring and it takes like 30-40 seconds just to scan me and let me into the damn room. And it seems like it is now time for my stuff to come out of the oven, but I don't think a couple more seconds here finishing this up
Collect kinesis and stasis
is going to
modules
matter,
from
so
Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple.
let's just
Location?
finish this video up and then I'll go take it on out. If it's ready. I had to put it back in for 5 minutes already.
I can't reach security.
Same for the
I think
chief
I made
engineer.
the loaves
What
a
is
little
wrong
bigger
with
than the
their
last
cause?
time I tried this. So it's taking a little longer to cook. The bigger you make your meat thing, the longer it takes. Like your meatloaf, or even if you just have a bigger cut of meat. The bigger cut of meat's gonna take a lot longer to cook than the littler piece of meat, that's for sure. Anyway though, let's go move on now, shall we? Now for DLSS Ultra Performance. And of course, still on Ultra. So now that we've gotten to the bottom, let's go get into the game. Well, now let's get some DLSS Ultra Performance gameplay in here before we get to some camera. Hey, I'm not going to be doing my settings as a screen recording just because it's going to be something we've already done. You know, it's just going to be probably DLSS quality, which we already did. So why bother doing two of the exact same
Half the
thing
shit must
screen
have heard that
recorded, you know?
Be
So
proud,
just
Chad.
after this, we'll
You got us
skip
here in
right to
one
the
piece.
camera.
Johnson might disagree. But you're offering to buy the first round tonight.
I wouldn't mind something to steady my nerves, especially on CEC stuff.
You see anyone in flight control?
Gotta wait for my
Nobody.
dinner to cool anyway.
The Ishimura was the first planet cracker class vessel and is now the
At least we didn't take out the sign.
with 60
Wow, that bowl really was just a two-hitter.
years of service. It holds the record for the highest number of planet craft.
Nothing left in the
34
grinder.
today.
After I'm done with dinner and whatnot, I'll have to
May
put
as
some
well
more
get
in
signed
there.
Trillion kilotons and counting. Whether you'll be joining us aboard the Ishimura or strengthening the extraction workforce,
You get pop too.
Captain Matthias
Welcome, Isaac Clarke, to the USG Ishimura. Collect kinesis and stasis modules from Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple. Location? Error. Employee not found.
I can't reach security.
Same for the chief engineer.
It's telling me to stand by. I'm not staying by. I'm constantly moving. There we go. Now we can get into our little area here and go and walk around for a quick second. And then we'll move on to camera.
Someone left in a hurry.
All right, let's go move on now.
All right, guys, let's look at the settings real quick before we go in. For my settings, we're gonna use DLSS quality, and we're just gonna leave the game on ultra. And we should be able to get more than enough FPS to be playable at these settings with this setup. So, now, why don't we go ahead and hop on into the game. All right. Let's get ourselves a little camera gameplay in now. Game definitely looks pretty good though. That is for sure.
Standard procedure.
Hello? Where is everybody? Half the ship must have heard that landing.
Yes, I would imagine most of the ship did indeed hear that.
But you're off in about the first round.
I would have meant something to say with yours, especially on CCs.
See anyone in flight control?
No, nobody.
Isaac, guess we better go.
No. I refuse.
At least we didn't take out the sun.
I mean, yeah, that would have just been a tragedy. Although, yeah, if we did that, we would have smashed in through all this and not even been able to get in, so I guess it's probably a good thing.
May as well get signed in.
Welcome, Isaac Clarke, to the USG Ishimura. Rig synced.
Now my back is all glowy and
Stasis
such.
modules from Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple. Location? Error. Employee not found.
Nope. Because they're probably all dead as fuck.
Same for the chief engineer. What is wrong with their comms?
Someone left in a hurry.
Where's the security detail?
More like died in a hurry.
There's nothing logged. No duty roster, no power to the elevator.
For God's sake. That security console's still working. Isaac, get a damage report.
You
Guns
got
all
it.
around.
Alright, let's see if it stutters like crazy. Nope.
Something on the floor here. Seth?
Isaac, I need that damage.
Oh God, I smell.
Thank God we don't have, like, smell vision in computers. Probably smells gross in there.
Comms with the guidance system. Half the Ishimura's in the red. Engines, hull, the trams.
You could do that kind of damage to a panic cracker.
Power. Ventilation's up. Power to the elevator should be.
Hazardous anomaly detected. Quarantine activated.
Another malfunction?
Apparently all the quarantine belongs to us.
Systems are all fine.
Oh, wait. Do you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear it.
Hammond?
Take it easy. Brandon, get those elevators running.
There's something in here with us.
Get out of there!
That is definitely quite a horror intensifying game, that's for sure. They make you think you're safe, and he's like, "I'll blast in this door, bitch!" But it doesn't matter. And now elevator goes down. But since this video is probably already pretty long, I think that's probably more than good enough. So why don't we now go and wrap this video on up.
Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Dead Space on the secondary computer here, and it did a very good job, although it still could not maintain over 60 FPS on Ultra, not at all times anyway. But I say that, but it was mostly just because of the video. At the beginning video, it was down in the 40s and 30s even, but once we got off the ship, it seemed to be okay, but it makes me think, okay, there might be other parts in the game, since I'm only playing the first little beginning part. There might be parts later on in the game where it drops way down, so I feel like if you put on DLSS on quality and put it on Ultra, you won't have a problem with setup like this. You should, besides the game's random little stutters it seems to still have, but I think it just needs a couple more updates. It's still a lot better than other games I've played with the stutter and whatnot, so. Except for on the Asus. It stuttered really bad when I was just on the Asus laptop itself, no external monitor. We dropped even down to like 1 FPS. I was like, what the fuck? But that could just be bad AMD drivers since they haven't updated since fucking December. Who knows? Or it could just be the game hates AMD GPUs. There's could be so many different, you know, reasons that it doesn't get great FPS, but I don't think the laptop's weak or anything yet. And at least at 1080p it was able to do pretty good, and with some, whatchamacallit, especially once we did some FSR, then it's not really 1080p anymore, but it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta use DLSS and FSR. I don't really care, but I still don't like having to do that with games. You shouldn't have to do that already with either one of these setups, because it's not like a 3090 is all of a sudden a garbage GPU. Sure, it's a little old now. It's 1 gen old, but not a bad GPU, and 5800X3D is definitely not either, especially not for ultra-wide, where it shouldn't be getting bottlenecked as much, especially not by a 3090. Now, if I put a 4090 in there, sure, it'd probably bottleneck here and there in certain games. But I only say that because my 13900K does the same thing, and they trade blows in different games, but most of the time the 13900K is fast. But there are certain games where the extra cache on that motherfucker helps. So anyway, that's about all I got for this particular video though. So it's time for me to go move on to the main computer, finish this game up, and then tomorrow it's Hogwarts. I'm very excited. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because of course I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you. And until the next video, peace out guys.